and welcome to episode 14, the final episode of Ready Moveset Go. As always, I'm your host, John from Room 100, and joining me, as always since the beginning, we have PK King 544.
Hello.
PizzaDudeManGuy.
Hey.
And NantenJex.
Hello. We've come to the end of an era.
We have. Is everyone all right? Anyone need to talk about it?
No, I'm going to cry. How could you do this to me, John? I'm going to cry.
Well, I don't want to dilly-dally in the intro too much this time, just because I want to cover a lot of ground in this episode. We're going to share our movesets as normal, as well as touch on some of the themes that were highly requested that we didn't get around to, and just spitball some ideas for those. But getting into the theme, I figured since this was the grand finale, the final part of the show, I felt it would be most fitting to work with the theme of final bosses, which has kind of been requested. Mostly, there's been a ton of requests for villains, so I figured that this was a fun way to do that.
Is that one-winged angel I hear in the background?
For copyright purposes, I hope it isn't. Other than that, we just kind of said, final bosses go wild, and the order is the reverse of the first episode, so full circle. We're going to be doing Nanten, Pizza, PK, and me. Everyone ready to go?
Ready, Moveset, Go.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, wow.
Hey.
It's weird we haven't used that before.
I don't remember.
I'd at least get it in once.
Yeah, there we go. Nice.
Yeah. So I'm going first. The character I went for is quite a recent pick in gaming. I tried to avoid all of the sort of cliche final boss villains that aren't in Smash yet. But I wanted to go for one that at least I had talked about with people, and I know some people were sort of anticipating for the next Smash. And that is Beak, who is the main villain of Metroid Dread, the newest Metroid.
Yes, I will say straight out that I did consider Beak very heavily, but I wanted to save him to do just my own moveset for him, like a later down the road. So it worked out.
Yeah, I think we're also doing one for Source Gaming. This isn't this one. I haven't actually read that one because I'm not the one working on it. But I know it's been like a back and forth spitballing ideas amongst the staff for it. And so I just sort of gave it a gander and did my own moveset, seeing as I've beaten that game 3 times fully, I think. And One of the times I was trying to speed run the ending, I was off by 3 minutes, so I was trying to beat him as fast as possible, so I know his movesets quite well, because I fought him so many times. I think he'd be a cool character. He'd be sort of very similar to Samus, but I think he'd be obviously taller. Obviously can't be too tall, but he would be taller, and I think he'd be very hard hitting, I suppose. I think his regular sort of walking and running would be quite slow, but he has properties and moves that will allow him to move very quickly. But I'll just get into it. So a lot of his standard and aerials are all mostly physical attacks. He has a dash attack where he just charges forward and slams into people. He has this really he basically has a 3-hit combo in the boss fight already, where he does these really big swings with his arms.
Yeah. So
those would work quite well. And he has a perfect down aerial when he's in the air, and he comes slamming down with his wings. So he crashes down and his wings go out and smack the floor, which I felt could also work quite nicely as a down smash, because he actually has wings and they're quite big objects. You could use them for stuff like his up smash and his down smash. His back aerial could be flapping his wings backwards and knocking people back. There's a lot of good stuff you can do there by taking advantage of the fact that he is a Birdman. And that would also make him stand out from Samus. Because that was obviously a big part of this. He has a power suit like Samus's does, but I didn't want him to be a copy of Samus. And he almost was. I almost gave him a charge beam and stuff. But after thinking about it again, I sort of changed direction a bit to make it a bit more focused on stuff he could do, while also being very much like a Mercury Steam Metroid character, because Mercury Steam has added a bunch of stuff into the games that just in Metroid Dread and just in Samus Returns, and so I've taken advantage of some of them. So with that in mind, his standard special is Beam Burst, which was an Aeon ability in Metroid Samus Returns, and he has a move that looks very much like it. I don't think it's ever actually called Beam Burst, but it basically looks like the same thing. And this is a standard special. He basically rapid fires bullets from his from his arm cannon.
Yeah.
Like almost like machine gun like. These are all like beam shots. They're all pretty small. They're all about Samus's beam shot, like her smallest beam shot. They're about that in size. They're about that in strength as well. But obviously he fires them out in like rapid succession, and they go over like a sort of three tiers in height. So they're not just one after another, kind of like Mega Man's. They come out in different heights, so they've got a bit more reach for that. So just being hit by one doesn't really do much, but obviously it's a rapid shot attack. I guess you could think of it, now that I'm saying it out loud, like Mii Gunner's side smash, like with actual range on it.
Yeah, okay.
So it could be like that. And then the other Aeon ability he has, which is one is definitely his in the is this in the game, is Flash Shift, which is a new Aeon ability that Samus gets in Metroid Dread that basically acts like the Fox illusion, like Fox and Falco's side special, where they like basically just flash forward a little bit. And the difference with the way that Flash Shift works is that while Samus usually just goes in a straight line, and Raven Beak does as well when he uses it in his boss fight, if you press up or down or even back as you get to the end of your first Flash Shift, they'll do like another one. So it's kind of like Pikachu's recovery, I guess. Like quick attack. So Raven Beak can do that, and he can either like, he'll always go straight for the first one, but for the second one you can then go up or down or even back again. Doing this means it's obviously really good for recovery, but it'll also automatically make him go into free fall if you do it on the second one. So there's like a risk you got to sort of take in here. You could get a bit more height in it, or I guess you could go down if you really wanted to. But doing so will make you free fall, whereas like just doing it regularly, I think you could be able to jump after that if you hadn't already.
Okay.
So you got to think about that's a way to differentiate it from Fox's one, I feel. Then for his up special, I've just called it Chozo Flight. This is, he's a bird, he has wings.
Yeah.
So he can launch himself into the air. Like, I don't think it'd be like Pit's, where he sort of goes up in a straight line. I think he'd like flap his wings and be pushed upwards. And if you're like next to him when he flaps his wings, it will knock you downwards. And I suppose if you go straight up, if you're like right above him as well, it could also like do damage. But this actually leads into a sort of, I guess, gimmick for Raven Beak. Raven Beak has 3 phases in his boss fight, and the second phase, which is like the longest and probably the most annoying, is him in the air, where he basically flies about in the air. Now, I couldn't give him the ability to fly because that would break the game, but I did think that he could have the ability to basically remain suspended in the air after this attack. So he'll launch himself up, and as long as you don't move like left, right, etc., Raven Beak will like remain like flying in the air in that spot. And then from there, you can use any of your other special attacks while in the air.
That's cool.
So you could basically fly up and you'd be in the air, and then you could use the beam burst, which you hold down to do the rapid fire, and then if you're holding it down, you can actually aim it up or down. Like you got the directional stuff that Samus can do in the Mercury Steam games. So it'd be like that here. While you're in the air, you could aim them. You could use the standard special and aim it like you could basically make a wave of it going down if you wanted to, and even shoot below, go all around. You could also do the side special where you dash out of it and do this. So you could do that for recovery. You can also just jump out of it. Basically, like I think if as long as you wouldn't be able to fly left or right. I think if you attempted to move left or right, it would just like maybe he'd move a little bit and then it'd go into free fall, or maybe it would just auto do the side special. It depends whichever one is less broken or feels most natural.
Yeah.
But I thought that would be a cool way to make him stand out, and it's also something he can do in the game. So yeah. And then the down special is the homing sphere, which is a attack he has where he charges up for a bit, and he charges this like black ball, and then he just releases it, and the black ball slowly moves around, but it homes in on the closest opponent. So in the games, it can be destroyed by Samus firing 4 missiles on it. So the way I see it here is that Raven Beak will charge this up and release it, and then it's just this independent attack that just targets whoever's closest to him. And it can even go through walls and stuff, so the only way to get rid of it is to destroy it with an attack. But obviously if it hits you, it'll explode. While Raven Beak is charging this, he does have a bit of super armor, so you can't just like blast at him from a distance to stop it. However, you can be grabbed out of it, and he can, if you do a smash attack against him, he can be knocked out of it as well. So that will stop him. So that means like whoever's playing as Ravenbeak to pull off this attack, it's obviously quite a good one. It's an independent homing sphere. Ravenbeak will need to find somewhere to stand and charge from a distance to be able to pull it off. How long he needs to charge, I don't know. That's sort of a balancing thing.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he'll need to find. He can't just like do a combo and then suddenly do this and release a sphere. Like it's got to be long enough that he has to be able to really do it as his starting thing. And then the final smash, I actually had like 3 choices for this, although 2 of them are kind of the same. So like he basically has the Omega Cannon that Samus has. As like her zero laser. So that would be the easiest final smash. He just fires off a big laser, but it's also a bit boring. I was originally thinking, he could do it like Lucario's final smash, where he goes to the top of the screen and fires it, because when he first starts using them, he's in the air. But then I also remember that's also Zero Suit Samus' final smash, so it's also still a bit boring. But the third option is he has one attack in his final phase where he basically summons like a massive yellow orb, which looks like the sun. And that goes to the top of the screen, and then it fires down like these slashes of fire. And originally, I didn't want to go for that one because I was like, well, it's a bit slow, and a lot of final smashes now are like, instant. But then when I really thought about it, I was like, it's kind of the same as PK Starstorm, really. Like a thing at the top, and then balls of energy come down. The only difference is that Ravenbeak doesn't have to go up there himself. So obviously if that's a problem, then it can't use that one. But I feel like that at least makes him, even if it's a final smash that another character has, basically, at least makes him different from Samus. Yeah. Who's a character who's in his series.
Right.
And Zero Suit Samus, another character in his series. So there are a few choices there. They would probably just do the Omega Cannon one because it's the easiest. But yeah, I wanted to throw that out there. But yeah, that was my Ravenbeak moveset. It was actually a lot easier to come up with than I was initially expecting it to be when I sat down to write it. But yeah, I think he could work, and I think he could work in the next Smash, assuming another Metroid game doesn't come out and take all his popularity away.
Yeah, Silex comes back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what I really didn't expect is that we had very different ideas for the movesets. Like I haven't fully gone through and made mine yet, but there's just a lot a lot of the same moves in different places, or just different concepts, which is really good, because I do think while I was doing that boss fight, I was like, he would work great in Smash. He just it already feels really good. The only thing I feel like I feel like would be a special somewhere that you didn't do is some kind of dash command grab, since that's kind of his whole that's how he's introduced, more or less, and then
he has
that's just such a big thing that he does multiple times, and it is just a normal attack in the boss fight. So I know that was something that I was going to focus on, but otherwise there's just a couple different choices, which is all very good.
Yeah, I mean that could be an alternative for the flash shift as a side special, rather than having it so he moves twice. If he hits an opponent, unlike Fox, who sort of goes through him, he immediately goes into a grab. That is one way of doing it. But you're right, he does have a lot of dash grabs and stuff like that you have to counter in his fight. So yeah, but there's some cool stuff. He has enough moves where you could make a couple movesets around him and they'd all feel natural.
Yeah, for sure. It could either be an auto grab, or if you tap it, it'll be the normal Fox type thing. If you hold it, then that'll be a command grab that's an even better version of Ganondorf side B. But because you have to take the second to charge it up, then it gives people a little bit more time to not just get immediately command grabbed.
Yeah.
I want to say that the upbeat is probably one of my favorite moves ever. Because that is such boss fight energy, to just suspend yourself in the air for a minute.
Right,
that's the kind of stuff that I love about this theme. And it, there's a lot of characters that can they have 2-part upbeats, they can do something else in the air. I was thinking of Mithra originally, but to be able to have 3 different options or 4 different options to do whatever you want, including canceling it or jumping out of it, I don't know, I love that. That's super cool.
I also think you did touch on a couple things that I kind of like the themes that we have for certain concepts that I definitely was thinking of when I was making movesets for like final bosses, which is, you said, like slower but like has super strong moves, so you have to like watch out. It's a lot about timing, and you also kind of implemented like the concept of like boss fight phases, which is another huge like very common thing as well that I didn't really work on in mine in the end, but either like those were huge parts of like final bosses to me in my head that I'm glad that you kind of worked with them in some way.
Yeah, get that final boss energy going.
Yeah. Well, let's see if that continues with Pizza.
I did Andross.
Nice.
Straight to the point.
Big monkey form or
I mean,
polygonal
look,
form?
when you fight Andross as a boss, he is a head and hands, and so that's what I wanted to make. We're making bosses, so I want to fight as a head and hands. Besides, that's a really iconic Nintendo boss, is head and hands.
True. Can't wait for his Echo Fighter of Dr. Kawashima.
That's right. Dr. Kawashima. You could have who's that boss from Wind Waker?
Oh yeah, the one in the Tower of Gods.
And then I don't know. Do like iRock from Mario 64 and just give him a Sphinx head? Yeah, give him a Sphinx head. There you go. There you go. Look at all the great costume options for Andross. So, essentially, what the character is it's a giant floating head. And we're talking like big, like Bowser size or a little bigger, but basically you're just a big head that otherwise acts like a regular Smash Brothers character. You do have two hands, two big floating hands. However, spatially, they appear on the left and right side of the head, which goes into the foreground and background of the stage that you're on, so they're not actually part of like the hittable area of Andross unless they come in for an attack. So the main thing that you are fighting is the head. However, yeah, all of Andross's normal moves use his hands. They come in just like in Star Fox 64, Star Fox Zero for hand swipes, punches, big smashing slams downward. So essentially, fighting styles wise, he's just a big, slow brawler with powerful punches. As for his special moves, neutral special is called Devour, and it's basically, I mean, it's pretty much like his big move in most of those games. It's like a King Dedede-esque, suck things up with his mouth. Yeah. Now, it is different here, because I wanted to differentiate it from the other moves we have of that style in Smash Brothers. So it has a few differences. Kind of like King K. Rool's Blunderbuss. Once you suck an enemy up, you immediately spit them out. You don't get to hold on to them and like move around like Kirby or DDD. Secondly, when you spit with the move, in addition to spitting out any opponent you suck in, you'll spit out a short-range shotgun blast of rocks that will deal damage on their own. The rocks will always shoot out even if you don't have an opponent. So if you're sucking up with the B button and then you let go, Andross will end the move by spitting out a bunch of rocks. So it's kind of like an opposite of King K. Rool's Blunderbuss, where he like shoots a cannonball then starts vacuuming. Andross vacuums and then shoots out a short-range shotgun blast of rocks. Like King Dedede's Inhale ability, you can eat projectiles with Andross's neutral special. However, instead of eating a single projectile and then like you heal or it explodes or whatever, when Andross sucks in projectiles, he just swallows them and then keeps going. So he's just an infinite hole of eating projectiles. It's kind of like you're using Ness's PSI magnet, but it affects all projectiles, but instead of healing, they just disappear. He just... If someone just wants to spam you with laser blasts and projectiles, you can just sit there eating them.
Nom nom.
Just vacuuming them up. So that's neutral special. Side special is called hand laser. Andross sticks one of his hands out in front of him and then shoots basically this continuous laser beam made up of like rapidly firing like blue rings of energy. It's kind of like his projectile attack in Star Fox Adventures. So essentially, it's a lot like Bowser's Fire Breath, where you just kind of hold it and you just shoot this beam of short to mid-range laser blasts that are continuous. Instead of slowly fizzling out like Bowser's Fire Breath, you can only hold the move for a certain amount of time before like the hand overheats and he has to put it away before you can use the move again. Now, the other special property with the move is while you're holding the B button out to a limited range, you can move Andross's hand backward, forward, up, or down while you're using the move. So by moving it forward and back, you can change, the range of the move a bit, from the point that it's coming out, or with up and down, you can change, where it is vertically. Or if you hold down the move and just kind of rotate the joystick around, you can make Andross's hand go in a wavy motion, which makes the laser have more of a wavy pattern to hit more opponents at different heights simultaneously.
That's cool.
So that's the side special. The up special, I'm borrowing a few different elements. I'm just calling the move Space Warp after one of Andross's fields of study. The way it works here is Andross basically becomes almost completely see-through. You just kind of see this ghostly apparition of where his head was. And then by default, it'll go upward. You can pick a different direction, but basically then the apparition of his head flies off in that direction and then reforms. So pretty standard flying up special. It's got a couple of special properties though. One, the head, becomes an object that you pass through. So you can use it to dodge attacks. Like someone's gonna hit you, you press up B, and then suddenly, you're kind of a ghost now, or a hologram, I guess, and you just pass through them. The other property of the move, though, is that while most of Andross becomes kind of this holographic projection, the one part that does remain there and physical is Andross's brain. So what the move basically is a flying brain tackle, which is something Andross does. So basically when you press the up B, you just become a big brain with an outline of Andross's head around you, which is non-targetable. But the brain flies quickly and damages people and knocks them away. However, the brain can also be out-prioritized, and if someone attacks your brain, you'll reform immediately and take damage, just like anyone else being hit out of their up B. That just leaves the down special, which I guess you could say is the main gimmick of this moveset. Andross's down special is supposed to be representative of how you progress. When you use the move, Andross will push one of his hands out in front of himself, and then the hand explodes.
Okay.
And when you explode the hand, it's a very powerful explosion for one. Not like a Link bomb, more like a Steve TNT. Very, very strong explosion. But then the hand is destroyed. So now you are a one-handed Andross. When you only have one hand, your moveset is mostly unaffected, besides like a few moves. Like for instance, now when you use your A combo, instead of being like a 1-2 punch, now it's just a single punch. Or your down smash only hits to one side rather than both sides. A lot of your aerial moves don't have as much range, stuff like that. It just kind of organically weakens you just by context of you have one less hand to work with. Otherwise, the rest of the moves work okay. Eventually, the hand will rebuild and respawn, but it takes a while, longer than one of Rosalina's Lumas coming back. Now, when you have no hands, then you are literally just the head. So it's a lot like fighting as Olimar with no Pikmin. A lot of your moves just don't work right. You're just a head, and in fact, you can't even grab. So you're pretty much just a head. A lot of your special moves will still work. You can still brain tackle. You can still suck things up. You can even still use your laser. Just instead of coming out of your hands, now it'll come out of Andross's mouth. But you don't get the ability to change the direction or give it a wave pattern. It's just a straightforward laser with Andross's mouth. However, you could, if you wanted to, press down B again and detonate your head.
Okay.
Okay.
Now I have questions.
When you self-destruct with Andross's head, it makes an even more phenomenal explosion. However, as soon as you activate the move on a time match, you go -1, and on a stock match, you just lose a stock right then and there as the attack is going. So you can't win with it. But yes, Andross has the ability, he doesn't have to flip through menus like heroes. If you want to take the time to set it up, if you're close to dying or whatever, Andross is able to use kamikazes at command. So that's Andross's deal as a character here. His final smash is one of those cutscene sequences like King K. Rool or Ridley. You know, he does an attack and then the opponents appear in Andross's base. And then Andross blows up the base. And you see the characters that you trapped in the final smash trying to run out of the tunnel as the fire is slowly catching up to them, and then it hits them and they explode out of venom. And then that's it.
Nice.
So when you go invisible, I assume it's not just the brain, but his eyes as well, you can see.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I was wondering how that was going to be incorporated into
Into the moveset.
into the moveset somehow. True Andross.
Yeah, that's right. That's all he really is.
Yep. That's what happens when you take science too far.
Has science gone too far?
The question is asked as someone is blowing up their hands and entire
Yeah. The body, we're just not even concerned where the body is. Like,
yeah, he blew it up probably. That's just what he does. Yeah, Andross is a very interesting choice. I certainly would not have thought of it. But he's a super cool final boss, which like the main experience I have with him is Star Fox 64, which I've played many times. But I think there's a lot of really cool stuff in here. Being able to move the side B is great. And I think just visually it could be very nice as well. And then you also, again, kind of worked in the whole concept of like the phases with basically choosing to make your own phases by blowing up at one hand or two or whatnot, which is just a super fun way to do that.
Yeah, it's good that you used the Andross with like a head and hands, because since Star Fox Zero, where they gave Andross like a full body, I was like, this feels like what they would probably do if he was in Smash, but this isn't the Andross that
It's not the Andross we
everyone
fight.
knows.
Yeah.
No, I don't think Sakurai would do that. He's good at. I don't think he'd go all the way back to like the first one, but you know, I don't think he'd do like the super new one. Because I mean, like, I'm familiar with Andross, but when you first said it, I was like, oh, that guy that spits the books out in the background. Yeah. Like, I was like, I don't know what he's talking about. Yeah, exactly. But no, that was super cool. And in a Star Fox rep that isn't, what we're the three that are pretty similar.
Right.
Would be very nice.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So hopefully that'll be one of the next series is kind of like Metroid to actually get some new stuff going on.
Yeah, a good game. No.
Or a good new game. But we'll see about that.
Okay, one step at a time.
Yeah. Oh my turn.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Let's see. Okay. I'm gonna need y'all to just be patient with me. I just hear me out. Normally I don't have like photo aids, but I have to for this one.
Oh, okay.
So the second you said boss fights, this character came into my head and I said no, and then I said no, I'm gonna figure it out. So I decided to do GLaDOS from Portal.
Yeah.
Because come on, it's Portal. Like, come on, you know. And when I was thinking about it more, I was like, oh, but Shell, obviously. But then I'm like, no, not Shell. What is she gonna? I mean, portals. Portals are the name of the game. I get it, but I just feel like I don't know. She's not that interesting. Like, she has the gun. That's it. So I was like, I don't really care about her that much. So I was like, okay.
Yeah, GLaDOS's personality is like a huge component of why those games are so good.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. So I was like, Shell can be like in the victory animation somewhere in the background. Anyway, GLaDOS, right? So obviously she hangs from the ceiling. How the hell is this gonna work? I'm not gonna put like human GLaDOS in here or something, like, no. So okay, originally I had a couple ideas. I was like, okay, maybe there could be like a background element that like you can see is like holding her up to the ceiling, but you can't actually interact with. Or maybe there are just wires going all the way up to the ceiling and you can hit them, and that's like some boss fight element or something. And I was like, or maybe she can have some sort of like contraption like with wheels or something that can like move her on the floor. So I looked up some ideas and I found this from the Lego set that they made from the Lego Dimensions game. And there's a lot of these little contraptions like similar to this, but this is like the best one, where it's like a little platform and then she's like has like a scorpion tail kind of, and she's hanging off the top of that. And I figured, you know what, this could work even if she just kind of like flops around to walk on this, like just like somehow swings her body a little bit to like, you know, hop on it.
It looks like the Pixar lamp.
Yeah, the Pixar lamp, exactly. It was literally a Pixar lamp. I'm like, you know what, it'd be slow, but you know, boss fight, slow, heavy.
Yeah, because floating wouldn't really, like, I guess stuff floats around in Portal, but like that's not like, I don't think of like hovering. Like, I guess there are platforms that do, but I don't know. I'm not sure if it would be that or like a tread or something, or hopping. Yeah, I don't like little like just boosts. I don't know.
I just kind of went for the hopping route on this.
I like the hopping route. That's my preferred option for this.
Yes. Okay. So getting into the actual moveset, most of the smaller stuff is just like a jab would be like a headbutt, like just stabbing her head forward. Some of the tilts could swing the whole contraption, like maybe she stays in place in the middle and the whole thing like swerves around her for forward tilt, and then down tilt she can like kind of flap and like stomp the little platform on the floor. The smash attacks I feel like would be like Bayo's, but instead of big hands, it would be big spike walls that can either come out of the contraption itself or just out of the floor and just like go up or swing forward and stuff like that. That would be very cool. And then one of the main things I wanted to do with this is like boss fight. To me, a lot of times is like, a lot of stage control, and that's really all GLaDOS is. Like, she doesn't really, she doesn't kick or anything, but she pushes panels and moves stuff. So I was like,
yeah, she has an arena.
She is the stage, So this would probably be, I'll get to the arrows in a sec, but this would probably really like annoying to like code or whatever, but they did it for Steve, so hear me out. The side B could be like a panel move where the longer you hold it, the further down it goes, and then when you release it, you could either if you hold up when you release it, it makes a wall like appear, and then it'll go away soon, or you can hit it or something, like, calm down, but it would make like a little wall. If you hold forward, it would make the wall kind of like go forward, like the way it would come out would be forward and would push your opponent away if they were on top of that like area on the floor. And if you hold it towards yourself, then it would throw them towards yourself when the panel opens. So you could kind of just decide where you want them to be at any given time if you like time it correctly, and if they're on the floor, like they'd have to be on the floor for this to work. I also incorporated that into her down air because, again, I'm bringing up Rivals. I have to, final episode. Maple in Rivals of Aether, her down air, no matter where she is, a root appears on the stage and kind of goes up a little bit, and attacks underneath her. So even if you're like 100 feet in the air, the down air will it's only on the stage. It's like a little root that comes up on the stage. So I'd imagine like her GLaDOS is down there. A panel from underneath her will like pop up. So if anyone's underneath her, it will hit them, but also send them up straight towards her. And then you have the aerials. So again, a lot of the aerials just like, swing the big body around that you have, the big metal body. So like maybe like forward air can be like a little like coil, and then like a lunge a little bit. Just to kind of make some variety. I'd imagine like the back air would be like a big heavier one. I didn't put too much specifics in here, honestly. But what I did do for specifics is the neutral air would kind of be, I like the Mewtwo kind of neutral air of like stuff around me. Yeah. So I thought, the neurotoxin can like kind of spread out from her and do like quick like multi-hit damage.
Yeah,
I was like, that'd be cute. And then for the up air, the tractor beam that in Portal that like is the big blue laser thing that you go inside of and it kind of like pushes you up. I like to think that one of those comes around her. I don't know if it would be full screen, but that would be kind of interesting. But it'd at least be like around her, and then she'd kind of like do like a little flip inside of it, like zero gravity on losing control, and she'd just do a little flip, and as an up air it would hit people and it would hurt. And then going on to the rest of the specials, the neutral bee would make a little rocket turret from the boss battle in the first game. It would just plop one down and be on the platform right in front of it, and it would just slowly like shoot a rocket, and it would have like a blue line before it does to show exactly where it's gonna shoot. So that would be cool. And then I'm gonna do down B last. Up B would be a hard light platform. This would be a full stage. This, wherever you are on the stage, it just, or in the air, I guess, it would just make a hard light platform that goes all the way across stage. So you just land on that. So you could get another jump back and maybe use your up air again. That has like a little more, a little bit of up momentum, whatever. But this platform, you know, other people could stand on it too. So if you're recovering, someone could just like stand on this platform. You could inadvertently help somebody else recover. But also, like, as long as you're like not too low on the stage, you could just make a platform and walk back if no one like challenges you, I guess. Yeah. So I just thought that'd be like really funny and a very like boss character thing to just be like, I'm just gonna make a whole platform on the whole stage right here. Deal with it. You know, you can still go up and down and it wouldn't stay for that long. Maybe like even when you touch the stage it would go away or something. But I like the idea of like just having whole separate fights on like the top left corner of the screen on a platform somewhere. Like I think that would be cool. And then down B is going to be the gels. It's going to go in this order because I feel like if I didn't put some sort of restriction on the order, then it would be a little broken. But it's going to start with the orange propulsion gel that I guess will just shoot out of her or her area. And it would just kind of go in front of her. The orange gel kind of keeps her momentum. So if you start like walking on it, you'll like slide and keep going. And I think this could very much help her slow nature, where she can like throw that down and then like slip and slide across and, you know, get places a lot faster. Obviously your opponent can use it too, so it may not be like that good, but I feel like having this, and then the next one will be the blue repulsion, which is kind of like a pad you bounce off of instead. So, you know, it can also get in the air a bit more because I'd imagine her jump would not be that good. So you can use this to get in the air and then, you know, make your own platform and stuff like that. And then you could put these on the platform, so that will even then help more. So you can really have a lot more mobility, but also you're giving your opponent the same mobility changes. But with like the side B, with the panels that you could put up, you can still kind of control where they are, or if anything, you can throw them off by like launching them somewhere and then they like bounce off something and they're like, what is happening? So just having that control over the stage, and then, you know, making a platform whenever you want, like from wherever you want, like that control over the stage is like, I had to give GLaDOS that somehow, because that, like, I can't convey her like personality too well in a fight, so I have to give that like stage control, like I own everything vibe. And then the last gel that she would do, the cleansing gel, just to get rid of the other gels. Like you would just have to use this after you use the other two before you can use the other two again. So it would like inadvertently, it could work like Mario Flood and get like push people away, but the main reason is to like clear off some of the gel, which would probably not stay there that long anyway. So maybe you don't really need this, but I just wanted a third gel, so that's the third gel.
All right.
Yeah.
No, fair enough.
Yeah. That's about it. The grab could be like panels coming from like underneath you and like squashing you in between them. The final smash could fill the whole screen with neurotoxin and kill people. Or I also thought like you can like get tossed in like the incinerator. Yeah. Like the companion cube. Either one of those I think would be fine. But all in all, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Wow.
That's great.
I really like, so I'm glad someone did it. I really like the idea of a boss character where like their whole setup and their attacks are based basically around building their dungeon and controlling it. I've done characters like that before, but I really like it. It's a fun idea, and I think a lot of the attacks did it well. I had just a few ideas for GLaDOS as you were talking about it. So as far as like the character build goes, what if, and this is just the first thing I thought of, what if, so you have GLaDOS basically hanging down from a ceiling, but the ceiling that she's hanging down from is a portal. So when you walk and run and jump with GLaDOS, basically what you're doing is you're moving the portal that she's coming out of.
That's not bad too.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad. Because, you know, it's a portal character. otherwise there wouldn't really be any portals. So, you know, that's not a bad idea.
That was my idea. I would love to see in some way, maybe kind of like Wii Fit Trainer, if GLaDOS just passively taunted for no reason.
Yeah.
Oh, hell
we were
yeah.
fighting.
That'd be the best part.
Oh yeah,
my gosh.
her taunts would be scathing. Like,
That'd be
Oh,
hilarious.
and then if you went with that incinerator final smash, it would be funny if there was inside the incinerator, there was a cake.
yeah.
Oh. Yeah, that would definitely at least be like a victory animation or something. Yeah.
But I thought it was a really fun character idea, and then I thought the execution of how the different attacks was really fun. I like it a lot.
Yay, thank you.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I mean, GLaDOS is just like one of everyone's like favorite characters. Like, it's just so
Yeah.
many people's favorite character. And just a great final boss. So I think that is like a perfect choice.
Hell yeah.
Plus, you get like a portal stage that's like kind of weird and puzzly and stuff, which would be fun too.
Yeah, Cheryl can appear
Yes.
there in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, she can like make
Yeah,
the
exactly.
portals
She
that
can be in the
people go
background
through.
there, bouncing around.
Yeah.
We can have Wheatley there too, just in the background.
Well, for the grab, I was thinking because she does in Portal 2 when she gets woken up again, she does grab you, doesn't she? She like picks you up. Like, I think she has some kind of like
I know she like
arm.
I know she like controls those like the elevator like vent thingies. Mm-hmm. I think at one point she like sucks you through one of those. I'm trying to maybe she probably does grab you too. I mean, whatever works. But I do like having an excuse to like, you know, rip up the floor.
Yeah.
You just grab you through that and like pinch you.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's like reverse Steve. Like, instead of changing every stage so that you can like build on
Yeah.
top of it, you're changing every stage so that you can like wreck it.
Yeah.
No, that's great though. I love it.
Yeah. Okay, Johnny, time to end it
Go
all.
on.
It's true. I'm a little torn just because I have like my original idea and then I have the backup that like is, I think, thematically a better ending, but I think I'll go for my original idea first, and then when I talk about it later, if we want to hear it, we can. If not, whatever. I'll be talking about it in the future anyway. So my character, I was a little relieved. Not only did Nanten not pick the character, but also made a moveset that was different enough from my interpretation of another Metroid villain, which is also getting into another request, not only villains, but also upgraded Echo Fighters, which is Dark Samus.
I mean, of course you would pick this. It's your main. Like, duh. But okay, go off.
So, and I guess technically an upgraded assist trophy as well, but you know, whatever. We did already do that one. So Dark Samus, the whole thing, I was like never that keen on Dark Samus becoming an Echo Fighter just for the sake of being an Echo Fighter. Like, it makes sense. It's fine, but there, like, even the assist trophy, there's like a lot of unique stuff that Dark Samus can do that just doesn't come across, and just like the overall vibe of Dark Samus in the Prime games, I was like, it's okay. So I wanted to super lean into that. A lot of elements like I was talking about with boss fights in general, where there's bigger, stronger hits than Samus, but a lot of them are way more telegraphed and easier to read. So there's a lot of opportunities to get in there and attack Dark Samus, but if you get caught, then you get hit for a lot of damage. The only difference from a lot of other boss characters is that Dark Samus would be pretty fast, like overall faster than Samus. Kind of be about keeping track of her, and then when she finally stops, you know, floating around, to take advantage of that. There are still some similarities. Jab is still a 2-hit combo, but a lot of it is a little bit less punchy and more like claw swipes. A lot of moves are aided by phase-on tentacles, or like just kind of phase-on forming in shards around like her arms and legs. Just help a little bit with range and power. Dash attack is kind of like the shine spark kind of appearance of just like a big charge forward. A couple other things that are directly pulled from the Prime games is Nair is another thing, kind of like what PK was saying. I also like villains having that like neutral air, just kind of like pop of energy. So it would kind of look like when she's floating in a ball in the air in Primes 2 and 3, while Dare is like an energy cannonball that slams down from Prime 2. Throws, grab and throws, also fairly safe. I changed the tether grab to be green just because that's what the Metroid Prime's grab looks like in Prime 1. And the only really exciting one here is that down throw would use the ice spreader. I wanted to include it somewhere. I didn't really find another place to put it, but there are a lot of down throws or certain throws that will trap you in a certain place. Usually it's like a berry or something. But I figured that the ice spreader could be a cool way to do that. For the smash attacks, this is basically kind of like when we upgrade or when we revamped existing fighters. It was a little bit similar to me where I took the existing stuff that is like supposed to be the super strong stuff and put it in smash attack. So these basically more or less come straight from the assist trophy. F smash is the shrapnel beam, which is again kind of like Mii Gunners, and you can tilt it up and down while you're firing it. Basically a like machine gun barrage of small little attacks. Up smash is the homing orbs, which initially basically works like Samus's up smash. Instead of like, I think it's something like four or five like blast of flame, you'll do 3 stronger blast overhead. And if you get caught in them, it's a ton of damage. But if there's no one around to get hit by it initially, then you will instead, those blasts are the things that are firing off the homing orbs that will float in the air and then go towards the closest enemy, and that'll do a lot less damage than getting hit by it directly, but it obviously just gives you more range and like gives the enemy something else to worry about. And then down smash is the kind of barrier. It could either have kind of a tentacle appearance or just be like a straight up kind of energy shield looking thing. It's changed throughout the games. In the assist trophy, it's tentacles, but either way, this would be just like an all surrounding barrier that would blast up pretty short range with lots of damage, and just like Min-Min's up smash, this would be a reflecting move as well. So for the specials, I kind of tried to find different versions of what Samus had to still make them feel similar, but definitely give Dark Samus her own personality. So Neutral B is still called the Charge Beam, though I've always thought of it more of like as a Hyper Beam. It's basically more of a Thoron type move, where it's just a huge beam that fires across the stage, way slower to start up, and some pretty bad end lag, but it's going to cover a lot of ground and be really strong.
Okay.
Side B is also missiles. Your normal missile will be a little bit more like how Samus's missiles used to be, where it doesn't have that like kind of slow little float like when you initially shoot it and then pick up momentum. It'll just be a straight shot forward, be pretty strong. While your homing missiles, instead of just being one weaker, slower missile that tracks them, will instead look more like the kind of missile barrage that Dark Samus can do, and a little bit more like the Seeker missiles. So they're really tiny, but they lock on, and getting hit by one is like basically negligible. But if you are accurate enough and close enough to get the entire blast off, it can rack up a ton of damage. Up B is the boost ball, which is primarily a Prime 2 thing, where she's just like dashing around a ton in morph ball form. So you would kind of like freeze in the air for a second, and this would more or less just be kind of a Pikachu or like a Sora Sonic Blade thing, where you can have up to 3 turns, and you're just like dash, turn, like just super fast zigzaggy kind of movement. And then down B, this is the only place where she really diverges from Samus and brings in kind of the main gimmick. I've used it before, but it's a huge thing with Dark Samus from Prime 3, which is a clone. You would do a little flip, clone yourself, and this is, again, very similar to what I've said before. The clone would be a little bit weaker, would die very quickly, just kind of like disappear in a burst of Phazon after taking some damage, but it's a great interrupter, and most importantly, it's a great kind of confusion thing, because you, as an enemy, you wouldn't know which is the real one. So it could definitely be just like either buying you some time to set up one of your really strong attacks like the Hyper Beam, things like that, or just like disrupting somebody who is like a faster character, so just to keep them from really just being all over on top of you. The final smash is called the Great Poison. There's a couple ideas that I had that I wasn't really sure what would be best. I think no matter what, the stage would get covered in Phazon, which is basically just going to act like lava and just hurt you. as much as you're walking on it. And then I decided you could turn full on into the Metroid Prime, but Smash like Ultimate was kind of weird with like transformation ones, so I decided to make it more like PD Piranha, where the Metroid Prime will spawn in on one side of the stage and be doing the attacks from Prime 1, and you're able to still attack and like help it out and just rack up more kills that way. But you could become the full-on Metroid Prime, or it could just be a little bit simpler with a Leviathan seed from Prime 3, just drop basically a huge meteor on the stage. There's a couple different options, but either way, so that was my Dark Samus moveset. I basically just wanted to bring in some of like the larger, stronger attacks to make her feel really like a boss, and just like you really have to like watch out for what she's doing and be aware of it.
Yeah, hell yeah. I think like big AoE kind of stuff is obviously like a huge part of boss fights, so that's cool to see explored. Yeah.
I think for the final Smash, it'd have to be something like Ganon's, where they become the thing, because Dark Samus is the Metroid Prime, so
yeah,
I think it'd be a bit odd if she summons Metroid Prime, right?
That's true.
I think they need to transform into it and then do whatever attack.
Yeah, I guess it could be. Is it like Rob's kind of does it, where like you become Metroid Prime? The main thing that you're controlling is like a huge blast or something like that, but then you're also kind of auto firing off like ice spreaders and like wave beams or whatever. So you're still controlling something, but it's not a full on like Giga Bowser transformation kind of thing.
Didn't Pit have like a Final Smash like that, where like you kind of controlled it, but then also did other little stuff?
I don't think so.
Like the arrow thing.
Did you have any control over that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I think I'm not sure.
There's a few. I know. I'm pretty sure Rob like wanders the stage.
Rob doesn't know. He doesn't. He that was his old one. He sticks where he is and basically just fires missiles and lasers about.
Yeah, true. Although there's also like the old Yoshi one, where like I think you were auto firing flame, but then you could shoot a big flame.
Like, the closest I feel like would be like the Inklings, where you can angle it up or down, the big blast that they do. Mm-hmm. But you don't obviously control the blast itself. That's usually the amount of control you get from it. Unless it's like Snakes, where you control where the homing missiles are going to go. Like by locking onto people.
Yeah, there's a few options. And I mean, maybe, Ultimate's done. Maybe in the next game, Final Smashes are going to be crazy again. So we'll see.
In the next game.
In the next game, when we meet back up in like 6 years.
Yeah.
I better start doing my new speculation videos.
Yeah, start those right now.
It started early.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was my choice, and to get into the kind of immediate backup so we can touch on the other stuff. My only other main choice that I felt was pretty possible for someone else to pick was Taboo.
Yeah, Taboo was Taboo was a choice that I thought about. Obviously, the final boss of Smash Bros.
Exactly.
Not including Master Hand. He was one of the obvious choices I had, which is why I didn't want to go for him. The other one, may as well say it now, was Dr. Eggman.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was the other obvious, because he's obviously a main villain and a final villain. So
it would just be great to be Taboo and be doing the off waves as like a ridiculous, like, it's slightly toned down but still ridiculous neutral B. Plus the only other thing I really liked for Taboo, like not even moveset wise, is that the palette swaps, a lot of them would be based off of like the multi-man colors.
Yeah.
And be based off of that general design. And then also like a Galeem color palette and a Darkon color palette. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, it'd be neat to get like an original Smash character actually playable. I know obviously why they haven't done it, but it'd be a fun idea, as like the secret last character.
Yeah, I agree. Well, maybe at the Game Awards. No.
No. I meant like I didn't mean for Ultimate. I meant like God.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like I said, Dr. Eggman was mine because he's got so much to pull from.
I went immediately to GLaDOS, and jokingly, I did think of, okay, don't get me mad, but I did jokingly think of Tom Nook for a second.
I did consider him.
True final
I did think about it.
Yeah, like taxes and like loans, that can't be a boss. Like I don't know, but I've been playing Animal Crossing a lot because of the update, so that was like in my brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, you attack somebody with like a contract, and it sets like a timer where if they don't do something by a certain time, then they're like they
Yeah, they just die. Yeah.
My backup wasn't really a final boss, so that's why I had it as my backup. What it was Samurai Goro, because I've always liked that idea. But what was really weird about the Samurai Goro moveset that I came up with is I've never done this before. I literally dreamed it up. I went to sleep one night, and while I was sleeping in my dreams, I had a dream that I made a Samurai Goro moveset, and it was really good. And then I woke up and realized that was a dream. I didn't actually do that. So then I wrote it down before I forgot.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
To start to kind of touch on some of the other things, just real briefly, just talking about, basic character concepts. I guess we'll start with an extension of what I did, a theme that we never got to, which is upgraded Echo Fighters. Mm-hmm. So were there Echo Fighters that you specifically would have really liked to upgrade? You feel like Echo doesn't cut it for them?
All of them.
Yeah.
I mean, in a dream world, they'd all be unique.
Absolutely, yeah.
Dark Samus is definitely the main one, because Dark Samus is probably, out of all of them, the one who could easily get away with a unique moveset. I think the other one might actually be Dark Pit, just because Kid Icarus Uprising has so many weapons in it that you could pull from. And Dark Pit only uses his signature weapon for the final smash and nothing else. Mm-hmm. Everything else he uses just, copies of Pit's weapons. You could give him, and if he's working with Viridi now, which I think is the canon, he could use a bunch of her weapons, like the claws and stuff like that. That would work really well for him. So there's a lot that could be done for Dark Pit, I think. So yeah, that's my that would be my one.
I'm honestly 100% with you. Have I played the game? No. Do I love the characters? Yes. So
I feel like you could get some mileage out of Daisy in a very in a way that a lot of people approach Waluigi, where she's more sports focused, maybe some of the party games.
Yeah, I think you could do that with Daisy. I think Daisy, it would require a complete overhaul.
Yeah.
Of everything, basically, for Daisy. But yeah, Daisy could work. I think that's the thing. I think Ken is fine as is. Mm-hmm. I think Lucina doesn't really actually play like Marth. She plays more like Chrom, but not Smash Chrom, because Smash Chrom doesn't play like Chrom.
No, yeah. So Chrom and Lucina should be their own thing.
Yeah, really, it should be. Yeah, Chrom is the main one, and then Lucina's Chrom's Echo. That would be more accurate to both of their game appearances. So I guess you could change things like that. Maybe it's better for Chrom to get a change. I think Lucina does work quite well as an easy mode Marth.
Yeah.
And you can kind of get away with it because she was pretending to be Marth. I understand the logic behind it. Mm-hmm. Unlike Roy's, who feels like Chrom only got that moveset purely because they wanted to add him in and they didn't want to do another Marth clone.
So they're just this is what's available.
Well,
so.
Roy is, the better alternative, so let's go there. But I think Richter's also fine, because I just can't really think of what else you'd do differently with the Belmonts.
Right, and
they already said that Simon has a bunch of Richter's moves. So.
Exactly, yeah.
I'd like to see Alf get upgraded to at least Echo.
Yeah, get the Rock Pikmin. Where are they?
Yeah, exactly. Rock and Wing Pikmin. Give him that instead of the purple and white ones.
Right, and then Olimar could have his Pikmin rope back. Now that we have tethers, back anyway, right?
Yeah, we have tethers back, yeah.
They got rid of them all, and then they were like, oh, well, we got Ivy's sword back, and we don't want to make something new, so Vine Whip.
Fine.
Yeah. Oh god, the Pikmin rope nightmares from my one friend who played Olimar.
And there's that new Pikmin mobile game, so we're all
Yeah, got an email for it today.
Yeah, I've been playing it. It's good. But yeah, I guess that would be it for Echoes.
I think so. Yeah, I was trying to. I feel like I can't think of it right now, but I feel like we're missing one of the Echo Fighters, and it's gonna be somebody's preferred Echo Fighter. But oh well.
No.
So a couple of the ones that were requested frequently that I there's just other ones that I preferred at the time. There's something like gaming hardware, which I kind of touched on with the Guitar Hero concept, and then I separately have made a Ring Fit moveset, but I feel like Ring Fit is one of the bigger ones in that kind of thing.
Ring Fit is the one I'd be confident is in the next Smash game, considering how well that game has done.
Yes, absolutely.
And it would work quite well. Like, if they're cutting characters or whatever, I could easily see Wii Fit gone and Ring Fit in.
Yeah.
They wouldn't play at all like each other, but they fill the same niche.
100%, yeah. Because other than that, there's like a Virtual Boy moveset somehow.
Yeah, Virtual Boy. Praise be to it.
Yeah. So I do like that concept a lot. It's just it's kind of tough to get across. Rob is like such like a peak kind of concept of like hardware turned into a fighter, and then Wii Fit Trainer kind of counts, although they're their own character. The whole thing.
If you go into as far as Wii Fit Trainer, you could do Discon as well, seeing as he's hardware. Actually, I think the peak hardware rep would be Satabo and what's his other name? Basically, the Satellaview mascots. There's like two of them. You could have the protagonists of Satellaview who are like the avatar characters, but I think having the mascots, which is the little guy and then his like satellite buddy.
Yeah.
You play as the little guy and the satellite buddy is like flying above, kind of like, in Donkey Kong Country where you get the birds in Donkey Kong Country 3 and it flies like above the characters and you're meant to be protecting it. They're like, you could have the satellite above and you could do specials that the satellite like fires them down. So the moves don't actually come from who you're controlling, but from like a remote thing in the sky.
Yeah.
I think that would be the best hardware one, but it's super obscure.
Would arcade cabinets count? Like not like even the more complicated ones with like either guns or like the racing ones that are like full on. Like,
they are hardware.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, no, that would work. Yeah,
I guess that'd be a stretch, but it'd work well enough. And then another one. That was also sort of covered would be focusing on scrapped fighters, like fighters who we know were scrapped for Smash, which was kind
James
of
Bond.
Yeah, which was kind of touched on with it again in the music episode with Rhythm Heaven.
Yeah, yeah.
But that one's a little bit. I feel like a little bit tougher just because like if you aren't personally connected to one of the cut characters, then oh well.
Yeah, it's a little too like limiting, but
I think it's a good idea, but obviously a lot of cut characters sort of come back. So other than Chorus Kids, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of the earliest cut characters have come back in some way, like actually be added in as playable or come back as assist trophies like Sukapon. It'd only really be like Toon Zelda, I guess. Dixie Kong, I suppose.
Dixie Kong, yeah. That would be nice to see.
Yeah.
Plusle and Minen.
Yeah.
Some other quicker ones before the ones that I saw requested a lot. There's also like a team or a new duo fighter, which they kind of sort of got with, well, yeah, there's them. But like we kind of got with Pyramithra, but I think this was more along the lines of an Ice Climbers, which we have not seen another of. But they did specifically say that like they couldn't do Rex and Pyra because they were both too detailed. So clearly it would be tough just from a technical standpoint to have another one. Nor do I specifically have like a duo in mind.
I've named two already.
Well, yeah.
The Satellite People and Plusle and Minen. So
yeah, fair enough.
I think I'm good for this.
Yeah. I feel like something like, that was the other hardware one I totally forgot about, is the Labo stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that is, I've always thought it was really cute when they showed off the Labo Mii Fighter thing that they had like the big mech in the background. So that could be a duo fighter, throwing it a little bit back to some of your guys' episode 1 Pokemon concepts, where you have like somebody who's controlling the Labo and then there's like a huge cardboard mech that's like following behind them or something.
Yeah.
There's also party games, which I was like always really interested in. I just like couldn't my mind could not get past Waluigi. So
yeah. Because if they did anything else, that'd just kind of be insulting.
Yeah.
Waluigi feels more like a sports character, but you're right, there aren't any Mario characters who originated in party games that aren't like, one-offs. Like
I can't think of any.
There's that one hat. There's that hat face guy.
The hat face guy, yeah. And then there's also the Sun and Moon people from 6. They were also, I guess, technically original. Well, I mean, they are original characters, but this is the thing, right? They've only been used in the one game. You could, maybe you could be like Koopa Kid.
Like Magic Koopa.
Do we really need Koopa Kid?
Yeah, true.
Yeah. I mean, John, I know you made like Mii Fighter like add-ons before. I don't know if like Party Games was one, but that's the only thing I could.
That
really
was,
think.
I did consider it.
Yeah.
I think that would be a lot of fun because Mii's are obviously just like avatars for so many party games. That would not be a bad approach at all. And now that I've kind of thought about it with when I did the whole Mr. Monopoly thing, maybe I'll have to reconsider that.
For a party game rep, I would make a moveset for the bald head from You Don't Know Jack.
That's kind of funny, actually.
I mean, honestly, you could definitely pull a lot of stuff from Jackbox in general to like the moves would be there anyway. Obviously, just the representation of the character would be a bit tough.
Yeah, no, that's pretty good.
And then another shorter one is mounted characters, which I know we've also a little bit discussed with the Pegasus Knight with Sheeta. Which is another very interesting concept, another like tougher one, just if you don't have one that immediately comes to mind.
I guess the problem with mounted characters is always size.
Yeah.
Because like, how could you conceivably have like a Fire Emblem horse unit that's not massive? Because the horse would have to be like about the size of a fighter at least, and then someone's on top of it.
It would just have to be like a child on top of it or something.
It'd be like a child on a baby horse.
Yeah.
Like if they're super cartoony and if you extend the word mount, it might work. Like you could get like Excite Bike Rider, where the mount is the motorbike, obviously, because he's like at least the original Excite Bike characters and the one from the Wii game are all chibi, so you could do that.
Yeah.
Or like the Slime Rider from Dragon Quest, where it's just a guy riding a slime, so the slime is the mount. Like, that would also work. But it's incredibly limiting. You have to find ones that would work conceivably well. They could be scaled to match correctly.
And sort of along those lines, because something I thought of for mount was like the new like Monster Hunter Rise riding around on your dog. But to go into kind of the 4 that I saw as kind of the most requested that we didn't do, one of which was monsters. So just like very non-humanoid, just kind of like big creatures, which I'm definitely very a fan of, because we got mostly humanoids as newcomers, which was like always a little bit of a bummer.
Yeah.
And I'll tie this in with the next one as well, which is quadruped.
Okay, yeah.
So it's just like I feel like there's a ton of like really unique opportunity there that we just like gotten a lot of recently.
Yeah, quadruped's a good one. Like that's always one I'd like to see more of in Smash, because like Ivysaur, I'm pretty sure is the only one. I guess Duck Hunt dog.
Duck Hunt counts. Yeah.
Does Duck Hunt count as a mounted character?
Well, does Banjo
Technically,
count?
yes. Yeah.
It's true. I guess that counts a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. There's just so many like cool animally beastie things you could do. Like I guess the only thing I could really think of right now would be, like I said, Monster Hunter would be super cool to have one of the smaller monsters in there and just feel like it just straight up like there's all these normal fighters and it just feels like there's an animal on stage. Like
Yeah. Well, they don't want to use the hunters for anything, so this is the
apparently
next best thing.
Yeah. The 2 other ones, one of which is horror, which was I mean very very recently considered because we passed by Halloween not too long ago. But horror has always been a really weird one for me, where it's a genre that everyone is like, oh, we should get a horror rep, but it's like the problem is the horror comes from the other stuff and not the player.
Yeah.
That's why like I had done like a Dead by Daylight killer moveset in the past for Trapper, just because it's like you not only play as them, but they are the horror element. And so that was always really tough for me, like with Resident Evil or something like that, is getting across like how is this character not just like a kind of like a human-y gunner, brawler kind of character. How does it actually feel?
You'd
like
have to
horror?
go for the monster, I think. That's always my sort of go-to when it comes to doing a Resident Evil moveset. I feel like you need to be Nemesis to really like get it across properly. The only problem, obviously, with doing a horror, and I'm pretty sure this is the reason why Resident Evil doesn't have anything in Smash, despite being so big, is because most horror games are like rated 18 plus. Because they're like, you know, super gory, or they involve lots of death, etc., etc. And so, like, and realistic death, I mean. So, like, if you were to put any content like that in Smash Brothers, it would, like, immediately force the game to be aged up, which I don't think they want to do.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the only reason we haven't had anything in horror. But, like, you know, throwing that to the caution to the wind, a horror rep would be nice. But I feel like the only way you'd get it across is by having the monster. Something like Nemesis or something like Freddy Fazbear. You wouldn't really work. You wouldn't really be able to get that horror element across if you were playing as, like, Leon or Jill or something like that.
Yeah, I agree. I guess the most... Well, one of the more humanoid but bigger ones you could get is like Pyramid Head, but that's even tougher to.
Pyramid Head would also work. Pyramid Head would arguably work the best because he doesn't look grotesque like Nemesis does, obviously. But he still looks threatening. He's also like pretty well known. Yeah. So like, I think Pyramid Head is probably the best chance we'll ever have at having a horror rep, unless they really want to just go Fatal Frame, I guess, because Nintendo owns that series. Yeah. I'm not sure who you do from Fatal Frame, because I'm pretty sure the monster's always a ghost, and it changes from game to game.
Yeah, so. I guess I don't know how. I haven't played Fatal Frame, but I guess could some moves work where you're like taking pictures and the monsters kind of appear to be in the pictures, but they're what's doing the moves or something like that?
It doesn't really quite work. I feel like the only way it would make sense is if you were playing as the ghosts, or as like the lead ghost or something like that. Because the ghosts can interact with people in that game. Obviously, they can hurt you, so they could easily hurt players. That's fine. But there isn't really an iconic ghost, I would say, from Fatal Frame. At least not that I'm aware of. So I don't know who you'd go for.
And then the final topic that was pretty heavily requested that we didn't get to touch on, saved it for last, is the FPS rep. Because
easy.
Dang. That is just always such a shame for me, but I'll let you guys kind of talk about who you would.
No, like. you can go, John. You could yeah. We know what you want to. You can go.
I think so here's the thing. It's like I completely understand that like a character, like we don't just need to be like, oh, we need X genre in Smash. Like that, it's a very silly way to think about the characters and like the arguments for them and whatnot.
Sure.
However, I feel like certain genres lend themselves to really interesting movesets, like puzzle games or FPSs. And I feel like that is the only thing that's really sad to me, is that we just haven't seen a character that plays the way that I feel like an FPS character would play, even with the gunners that we have on the roster. But I mean, that said, there's obviously icons you could choose. There's Doomguy, there's Master Chief. Those are I think the main contenders. Other than that, there's like other bigger ones in terms of the broad scale of the genre, like Gordon. That get this. I mean, probably the main reason that they're not in is because that shooters aren't the biggest thing in Japan.
I don't know if that's necessarily the case. They could be an age rating thing again. Yeah, because I mean, like games like Apex Legends is really popular in Japan. So
at the very least, the ones that were biggest in the West were not.
Halo and Doom aren't as big in Japan as they are in the West, but I would still say people sort of acknowledge them as being quite big. I think an issue largely comes down to most of them being based in the West, which tends to seemingly be a lot harder to pull off. Yeah. At least Nintendo's not willing to put in as much effort to get them. But also, again, it is an age rating thing. Like COD is like got realistic people in it. Like, or can you get Doomguy where he's not like pounding someone's face in?
Yeah. Like, well, yeah. See, that was the weirdest thing to me, is that I guess at some point they just struck a deal with Bethesda and got all those costumes, but we didn't get any Master Chief stuff, which is like. They were working with Microsoft. I wonder if it was a Microsoft thing that they didn't want.
Microsoft commented once that it'd be a very different situation trying to get Master Chief into Smash compared to trying to get Banjo and Kazooie into Smash. Like, it was a lot easier to handle that, but if they were to do Master Chief, it'd be very different, which sort of says to me, like, because he's like Microsoft's rep, they'd want to be a lot more hands-on and stuff like this. It might be too much of a thing. And I think I have a feeling that other than NantenJex, all the Bethesda Mii costumes were probably decided prior to Microsoft acquiring them.
Yeah.
So, like, I feel like NantenJeX's Mii costume only came because of the big request for NantenJex to be added. Which
does warm my heart, because it's like, it can be hard to tell, like, how much support a character actually has. So if that is the reason, then, like, sweet. I'm glad that...
I mean, contrary to what some people on the internet might scream, I think that if a character gets in as a Mii costume, that's a pretty good sign that they're very popular.
Oh, yeah,
definitely.
Well, and the other thing, too, is, you know, based on what they talked about for when they were choosing Sora and other characters, I feel like a lot of the characters that they picked as DLC for Smash Ultimate were things that were decided upon because of the Smash ballot. And
absolutely.
characters like NantenJex and Crash, from my memory, did not get like really popular in Smash circles until after that.
Definitely not NantenJex. NantenJex is a very recent thing, because it took Doom 2016 to like really have its time to like sink in and bring Doom back. And then somewhere between that and Doom Eternal is where Doom Slayer became a lot more of his own character, like started to get used in memes and stuff all the time.
I think a lot of people really underestimated how much time goes into the development of each of these characters. That's not just like, oh, this character's popular now, so now we're going to work on them in Smash. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of the DLC characters, other than Sora, who was obviously decided on a bit later, according to Sakurai, I feel like a lot of them were decided fairly early on. So like characters like Dante and NantenJex, who both got really popular during the speculation period, probably only got added in as costumes because they were popular early on in the speculation, and so Nintendo was like, oh, we should throw them a bone.
Right.
Shame they couldn't do the same thing for Ryu Hayabusa, but oh well.
Yeah, I know. That is so confusing. That's like its whole own thing, though. Like, so bizarre. So to start to wrap things up, because those were kind of the biggest things that I saw get requested a lot. There's a ton of others to wrap things up. If you guys want to go through your final goodbyes, starting with Nanten.
Farewell, everybody. But you don't. This doesn't have to be goodbye to me.
Yeah.
If you come over to one of my channels, you can get more of me. Either Source Gaming or the Nintendo Chronicle. I have no idea. I obviously know what videos were in production, but I have no idea what will be out as and when this video goes live. So I'm assuming the next Why Characters Were Cut video should be live by then, because I know it's been in production for a while now. It's just had a few like technical hiccups. So hopefully that'll be live by the time this video is. Maybe even the next one, who knows? But I guess we'll just see.
I've been waiting with bated breath for it. So.
I apologize for everyone who has waited so long.
Pizza
Dude Man, bye.
How long were you waiting for that one?
I literally made it up 2 minutes ago.
Okay.
a real We Are Groot moment. PK.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm PK King. I'm a character designer. I'm an artist. I make mods for Rivals of Aether. Check out my channel, please. I've been a little quiet recently, but that's because I'm working on a lot of big projects and stuff. So, by the time this video is out, I should probably have a video uploaded, and then you should subscribe, and then you should stay.
All right. So I'm me. Whole spiel. I'm here. I'll be talking a little bit more about what I'll be doing with the channel towards the end of the year. But I mostly want to go through, say some thank yous for sticking around and watching the series. Thank you for everyone who has been around since the beginning, been around in the comments. I don't want to like specifically single anyone out because just because I don't want to forget anybody. But you know who you are. Thank you very much for always sharing your own movesets and just being engaged, and super nice to have in comments. A special thank you to the people whose topics we chose. I kind of stopped bringing that up in like episode 3 out of laziness. But to just machine gun real quick, we had BDZB Comics who offered up the spear theme. Lime Green, who suggested Cooking Mama. We just went with Cooking and failed Lime Green miserably. We had Voyager G0 for Sports. Cyber Hack Ideas for Magic, which was also kind of supported by Delzathan. Game God for Mech. Bobby Blue for Rhythm. No one really for the ice theme. That was more of a seasonal thing, but we did have Game God suggest based around like specific elements, so that works, I guess. Death Alchemist for Assist Trophy upgrades. Luke or Luck, I'm not sure. Crossley for mobs. Cyberhack Ideas once again for retro. Steamtastic Vagabond for redoing existing fighters. Jedi Legolas and Shih Tzu for fourth party. I specifically want to say Shih Tzu there because they also established the rule of being in a video game before, which was a key part of that. And Voyager G0 for the villains theme and kind of final boss idea. Along with that, another thank you to all the guests that we've had on throughout the series, for being Brawl Fan 1, Delzathan, Backseat, Felicia Fan, and Push Dustin. They were all very excellent. We're super excited to have them on the show. And finally, I want to thank you guys once again, because this show wouldn't have existed without you. I mean, huge thank you to PK for legit being the reason the show exists by reaching out to me, and then drawing all the awesome artwork. It's just great. And also thank you, of course, to Pizza Nanten for receiving a DM from a complete nobody and being cool with hopping onto this. So thank you guys so much for working on this with me.
Well, thanks for having us.
No worries. Always fun to chat Smash.
So you know where you can find these guys now. I'll be here. Make sure you stick around. Keep in touch with us. And as always, thanks for watching. See you around.
Bye.